What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building for another episode of the Shop Podcast, man. It is a very, very, very special show, so buckle up. We're talking E3, we're talking Xbox, Bethesda. We're going off the cuff today. It's unscripted. You know, I usually have topics, but we don't got time for that. We just gonna dive in. We're gonna talk about the games. We're gonna talk about everything we've seen so far. But lock in, guys. Retweet, like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We appreciate you guys' continued support. Let's just dive right into our guest here, man. We got Mr. InsipidGhost, host of XEP, man. Haven't been on the show in a little bit, man, but we had to bring you back, especially for this special occasion. So how you doing? Congrats on all the success at XEP as well, man. I've been, like, you know me, I'm there every week, man. I'm watching. So
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me back. It is an honor to be back on the shop. I love y'all's show. Always brings a joy to my feed as well. Good time to be a gamer. E3 time. Lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of expectations and excitements for tomorrow. Man, I just appreciate you guys having me on. So thank you. Thank you.
Not a problem. And once again, I put all his information down in the description. He has a link tree. That's where you can kind of find everything he's doing. YouTube, Twitter, all of that. I put his Twitter down there as well. So please go show some support, man. You will not regret it. I promise you. You know, I don't recommend anything that I don't think is great. So make sure you guys go do that. Appreciate you once again hanging out with us, Luke. Shout out to Stag as well. Stag, you guys, as you guys can see, Stag's not here. Shout out to him. You know, he'll be back sometime soon. So we appreciate you. I know you might even pop up in the chat later, Stag. So appreciate you watching, brother. But let's go ahead and get to my other three amigos, man. Mr. Pong Soul, Mr. Energizer Bunny / Steve Harvey. How you doing this week, brother?
Man, show number 6 in 3 days.
Man, I'm telling you.
Including 2 5.5-hour marathons. So, you know what? My mouth is loose. My tongue is stretched out, and I'm ready to rock and roll. It is E3 time. It is the fun time. It is Christmas for gamers, and we are starting off hot. So we got a lot to talk about, and I'm happy to be here with all my usual brothers on a Saturday night. And, of course, our special guest, Luke. It's fantastic to be on another show with you, sir. Always love your opinions, and we always have a good time. So I can't wait to get down to business.
Let's dive in, man. Yeah. Let's get to my other two guys here, and then we're gonna jump right in, man, right off the cuff. So what's up, Centurion? How you been, bro? How your week been? Are you excited for everything, man?
Oh, man, what is up, everybody? The week has been long. It is about 110 degrees, and it is supposed to get hotter next week, but definitely this weekend is hotter than anything because it is Gamers Eve. It is E3 time, and I am excited.
Man, we're going to dive in. We got a lot to cover, man. Let's Fuzz. What's up with you, man? We're going to smooth things out here, but how you been, man? You excited?
Oh yeah, I'm excited, but I'm trying to avoid stuff on Twitter and
stay off it, man. I'm trying to tell you right now, stay off.
But enjoying what I've seen so far, despite some of the pacing on the Summer Games Fest. But we'll get into that. But man, it's like Christmas Eve for gamers, so I'm pretty pumped.
I'm hyped, man. You know, the funny thing is, last week on the podcast, I said it was going to take a few days, for me to kind of start feeling it. And I think that was yesterday. About halfway through the day, I realized what was happening. And I'm like, man, we really got E3 in a couple of days. So I'm excited. So we'll wake up tomorrow and we'll be right where we need to be. It's kind of
small caveat real quick, PTK. I've been avoiding social media. I was going to say I tuned in long enough to see Stagger's new puppy and kitten.
Shout out to Stag, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, but you gotta once again, chat, you don't want to be spoiled. You don't want to have your expectations skewed. Just stay off of social media because there's people out there that have a certain responsibility that aren't really abiding by the rules, essentially. So just kind of be careful. So you know how it goes. But appreciate you guys locking in with us. What was you about to say, Pong? My bad.
I was just about to say, anybody want to send me leaks? My DMs are open. All about seeing the Christmas gifts before Christmas. Let's go. He
got the RV parked in Speculation Town. He's not leaving until E3 is over. He brought the RV. He got everything.
Isn't that like a good way to get sent a DM you didn't really want, though?
Yeah, whatever. You can block those people.
Let's get it started, man. Let's dive in. So once again, guys, there was a poll of the week. We do it every single Monday. We're not even even going to talk about it today because I just want to really dive in to the E3 stuff. But check me out on my Twitter. You follow me there. Appreciate this and continue support there as well. We'll do the poll of the week next week. It'll be another one on Monday. But let's dive in. I kind of just want to go off the cuff, so we'll just start here. So far, what are you guys thinking about, what we've seen so far? Summer Games Fest. I know we kind of dove into that pre-game, but we'll start with our guest here, Luke. So, just what you've seen so far. Where you at with the show? Is Devolver, Ubisoft?
Well, right off the bat, I feel like it comes down to what Microsoft did to start off kind of this silly season of E3. They had that pre-recorded pre-E3 show where Satya Nadella, the CEO, not of Xbox, but of Microsoft, the trillion-dollar company, was out there repping and supporting games, talking about the future of games, not just wearing the Halo shirt, not just doing the PR bits, but genuinely showcasing that Microsoft is invested in gaming for the long term. And I think that's a very strong statement and a reassurance, as it were, because it wasn't too long ago, the beginning of the Xbox One generation, where we were all kind of, I don't know about this.
Hanging on by a thread, for real. Xbox was.
Exactly. And so to see them retune the hardware, launch a new console, retune the services, buy the studios to make the IP, it seems like it's all starting to come to fruition. And I thought that was a great way to start off everything leading into Keighley's Summer Game Fest and then the various conferences up to this point so far. So I was pleased with the start.
Nice. Awesome. Same here. So a lot of different things that we saw so far. And I kind of want to piggyback off of what you said, Luke, there. The variety is what I'm noticing just in the different shows. And let's be honest, from just what I've seen so far, I talked about it pre-game. I think AA's are kind of carrying. The small studios are carrying right now. Devolver, in my opinion, probably had the best show thus far. And it was a lot of smaller games, but they all looked amazing. The pace was great. A lot of the best games we've seen so far have been some of these smaller games made by smaller teams. Kena looked amazing. I don't know if you got a chance to see that stream, the Kena stream that they did.
And small games are still fun. Remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk, and I want to make sure I give that love first and foremost because people will gloss over that, man. But it's there. It's a lot of consistent, a lot of amazing games out there being made by a lot of small devs. So want to make sure we put that in the limelight. But Pong, want to get your quick opinion on how things have gone so far for you, what you've seen from some of the shows, and kind of your expectations thus far.
Hey, it's been a mixed bag as to be expected with a lot of this stuff that's been coming out. To go back and jump off of what Luke said, that was all planned by Microsoft. We were supposed to see that future games, video about a month ago, and they moved it. And people in the industry were kind of wondering. Again, it wasn't for public consumption; it was just for the press. But again, every message in there was for a reason, and for them to move it to this point, to days just ahead of E3, really points to what they are going for and what they are going to be doing tomorrow, especially. I think it was a very poignant moment for Microsoft and Xbox to have Satya dressed up in some Halo Infinite swag. That never happens. For the first time to have Microsoft CEO out in front talking about games like that with Phil, talking about acquisitions, talking about the future and where they're moving towards. That was huge. They basically laid out the roadmap for what, again, we've talked about it plenty of times here, PTK, and on other shows. They are always forward thinking 10, 15, 20 years, well beyond what the average gamer will look ahead. They are there and they've already got it laid out with what they're doing. And they want to set the tone coming into Sunday, and they did that masterfully. I absolutely loved what they did. Summer's Game Fest, good stuff. It started out hot, ended hot. The middle was meh. It was whatever. It was Keighley Hollywood. It was what it was, but there was good games showing in there, and I'm not going to take away from that. Love some of the games that were showing off. And then obviously, like you said, there's been a lot of smaller games that have shown bright. And Ubisoft had some good things. Again, their show to me wasn't the best,
Yeah.
or anywhere near close to being the best, but I kind of expected that this year from them. But they still had some good things in there that I did like. Devolver, definitely star right now of E3. If anybody hasn't watched the Devolver show, every year you have to catch it. But if you didn't catch it this year, man, they blew it out of the water again, came up with something creative, crazy, unique, fun. You were just laughing and smiling and saying, oh my God, I can't believe they just did that in between each game. And then you roll into that game, I think, just in a good mood. And that's how it was. And their games again shine this year. They had some good new stuff in there. So man, I'm hyped. This is E3, golden age of gaming. We are here, and tomorrow is going to be the big show, but man, there's a lot of goodness leading up to it.
Oh, damn right. You're damn right. So we can't get mixed in the sauce here. There's a lot of stuff to cover here. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion. Get your opinion, man. I don't know if you've been off the grid. I'm not sure how much you've actually followed on Twitter or just watched it all, but just what have you seen so far?
I'm just out here in a shack with like some tinfoil and rabbit ears. It's like, yeah, you're getting Jeff Keighley on the AM band.
Oh my goodness, on the AM.
I feel like I've seen Jeff Keighley's face way too much in the past for like a couple hours. I'll definitely say that.
But just what just from what you've seen so far, where are you at?
All right, so what I've seen so far, I will be absolutely honest. I work way too much, so I've been listening to Jeff Keighley, the summer of Jeff Keighley in the background, and a little bit here and there was kind of like, I will say I did kind of fall asleep about an hour and a half into the 3-hour marathon. That was the beginning. So I still have to finish that. Now, I did come home enough in time for the Ubisoft. I still need to watch the Devolver Digital one. I always know Devolver's always put on a really good stage show. Definitely a unique show if you've seen some of the stuff from past. Now, when it comes to Ubisoft, I know a lot of people are kind of not on that Rainbow Six hype train. For me, I enjoyed Rainbow Six. I've put a lot of time in Rainbow Six. I haven't played it as much as I have in the past lately. But I did check out the event, you would call it, where they're kind of basing this whole new Rainbow Six game off of. And to me, this looks really fun. I'm interested in it. I actually sat through the entire, they did put a lot of time. I was actually shocked how much they actually talked about Rainbow Six. But for me, at least right now, Ubisoft kind of is at least putting out some games that have me interested. It was really nice to see more story for Far Cry 6.
Yeah, that looked great.
Far Cry 6 looks great. The DLC that they've got for post-launch, it looks pretty good on how they're going to start really kind of tackling where they strive in, and that's the bad guys of the franchise, and they're really kind of building off that with some DLC. Right now, let's just say the only thing I've really seen that I have to play when I first see it is going to be Rainbow Six Extraction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And obviously Far Cry, but that's a given.
Okay. No, I agree. So Ubisoft show was a bit I don't say top heavy. The beginning was great, the ending was great. I'm not the biggest Avatar fan, I admit. Don't tear me apart, Chad. I'm sorry.
I will give Jeff Keighley credit for one thing now that it comes to mind.
What?
You guys have always talked about Tunic, and the only thing I've ever had to really check out about Tunic is either what you guys post up, the articles, or basically you have to go looking for it. And I would have to say last night, I could think it was the first time I could think of off the top of my head that somebody actually brought Tunic up. And I remember Jeff Keighley actually talking about Tunic. So I remember that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I believe Tunic was they've showed that already as well. I can't remember the name of the event, but they're going to have a bunch of demos. I don't know who dropped out there. That looks like that was Fuzz. I don't know what happened, guys. So but yeah, let's keep this thing going, man. Fuzz will be back shortly, hopefully. Not sure what happened. But so yeah, let's keep this thing moving. So chat, let us know what you guys think of what we're talking about. Everything we're going over just to hit the hype here for E3. Okay, Fuzz in the chat said he got connection issues. So sorry about that, guys. We're gonna keep this thing rolling. So we'll roll around to you again, Luke. Now, obviously the big show is tomorrow. Well, for a majority of us here, as well as majority of the chat, the big show is tomorrow. Now, I don't really want to go over, even really your expectations. Just kind of what tone do you think needs to be set from Xbox tomorrow? Because I think that's extremely important. It's not so much what's shown, Although that's important, like I think the tone needs to be set though. So what do you think about what as far as that goes, the tone that they need to set?
Well, the narrative for Xbox has been memed to death in the Xbox One generation that Xbox has no games. And while that's been categorically false, it's understood that they don't have the games that can reach the caliber of God of War or Ghost of Tsushima, right? That their biggest competitor in Sony in terms of mindshare. So tomorrow's tone needs to be all about the games in the medium and long term. Short term, you're probably not getting much. I'm sure we'll hear some things about the holiday, Halo, and otherwise, shorter term stuff like the Ascent, some exclusives that they've got there. But we need to see now what these studios that they acquired 2, 3, and 4 years ago are cranking out at this point. What's on the roadmap for 2022, for 2023? They came out and made waves when they said they wanted to have an exclusive every quarter. With heavy cadence, and that makes sense. So their mindset, their mind share, and their attitude for tomorrow needs to be games through and through. Games big, games small, things that are coming to Game Pass, third-party relationships. They don't need to talk about hardware. They really don't need to talk about services. Tomorrow needs to be about IP and games. So they've got the xCloud stuff out of the way with this pre-E3 thing, so they don't need to talk services there. Maybe they give us a number about Game Pass, like, oh, we've hit X million at this point.
Yeah.
But really and truly, it needs to be game titles, gameplay, and trailers. Show those in the ecosystem what they're getting next year and the year after, and if you're able, the year after that.
I agree. That's a strong point, and I think that's the tone that's very, very important, because at the end of the day, and people got to remember, they didn't walk into last generation. They were upside down when they walked into 2013. They were treading water for the first 3 to 4 years of that last generation, or trying to tread water. So they don't have those same issues this time around. Like you said, that's a great point. We don't have to talk about the hardware because there's no issue there. There's no power disparity anymore. We don't have to talk about that anymore. There's no price issue anymore, because remember, that was a big deal. There's no DRM issue anymore. None of that is applicable at this particular point. So you're right, Luke. It really should just be about the games. Obviously, Game Pass is going to be a huge part of that. They're definitely going to talk about games. They have to. It's the future essentially of Xbox. So they're going to talk. We're going to get heavy Game Pass, probably a bunch of announcements there, but I agree with you. Look, I kind of want to ask you one secondary question on top of that one before we move on to the next question, Luke. So as far as what we went over, you were saying about just the cadence of games that they need to come out. Do you think that, so realistically, do you think that starts next year as opposed to what we're going to see this year? Because I know you pointed out that this year is kind of a wash at this point.
Right. I think that the cadence of games will start in 2022. The cadence of big games, those super high caliber games, will be 2023. I think Hellblade 2 was probably a smaller endeavor, and then they saw the reaction, and I'm guessing that from that reaction they said, okay, we got to really up our game. We want to get these studios rocking and rolling full time in the studio once they're able to be there, right? Once the pandemic is safely passed, so that people can be in studio, and then kind of moreover working with now current gen technologies like Unreal 5. So I would expect we see some cross-gen stuff through 2021, 2022, and that, those heavy hitters, most of which we don't really know about. I mean, we know some of them, Fable, Avowed, things like that. Yeah. But a lot of them we don't know. Those in 2023 are probably when we really get it. Big holiday for 2022, I would expect.
I think that's a good timeline. Great timeline. So, all right, let's go ahead and get to you, Fuzz, because I know you dropped that there. You back, brother?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, no, it's all good.
Look, hold on. Fuzz, MacBook Pro with Chrome running. Okay, you got a lot of issues going on here, brother. No wonder why you cut out. I'm surprised this is the first time. Okay, let's go. Come on, Fuzz.
I've completely abandoned Safari on it. So.
Your MacBook is now abandoning you. That's
running the other way.
I feel like Fuzz stole my hardware joke with an even better one, because when Ghost over here said that we need somebody on stage talking hardware, no one on stage talking hardware, I wanted to cut in and say, yes, we do. We need to find out about our new expanding storage solution. And then I wanted to be like, oh, wait, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
Low blow.
No, I think Apple and my Mac have been taking offense to me saying console users are becoming the new Apple users. Make a long story short, no, because this whole $10 tax on next gen games, they don't charge the PC guys.
Right.
They only charge the console guys. But if you have a NVMe or NVMe drive on your PC, are you paying $10 more? No.
Nope.
So they decided to charge the console guys more, just like a lot of times companies charge Apple users more, just because, hey, well, they're willing to pay more. But back to the matter at hand. The overall shows with the Summer Games Fest, I was attended for an hour and then I dozed off, so I had to go back. Watched what I was waiting for.
Everybody took a nap. Why does that keep happening? Everybody, I didn't take a nap. I watched the whole
Jeff
thing.
Keighley just makes me want to nap, dude. What can I say?
Man, listen, but it was a bit heavy on the musical acts. That's another thing.
Yeah.
I want to steal your turn. I want to steal you. So go ahead, Fuzz.
No, but it was. I think it was like right after they started talking about movies and stuff. I was like, but no, I'm Elden Ring being shown. That, I mean, we've been teased for it for like the past 8 days or so. So that was kind of to be expected, but it was good to see it. Good to see that it's had a release date. I don't know how accurate that release date's going to be. It might get bumped again, but at least for them to show some footage, and I won't say gameplay per se, but at least show some footage, release date, that was awesome. Some other stuff that I saw at the show was reasonable, but it was kind of a slower pace thing at the middle portion, or at least after the first hour or so. But going back, there was a couple of games that I saw, like that Planet of Lana looks pretty cool, and there was like something else. Although I know Xbox got at least a game announcement with the what was that, Anacrovis or something like that, where it was like a 4-player space game and things like that. But switching over to E3 day today, Ubisoft. I mean, it was to be expected. They already told us in advance, no, don't expect anything Division related or anything along those lines, no Heartland stuff. But as far as, For Honor got some nice DLC updates. They talked about the next one for Assassin's Creed, as far as for the what do you call them? Valhalla.
Yeah.
Which I've yet to finish the story, and it's been a bit of a drag compared to like Origins, 100% the entire game, and the DLC Odyssey, 100% of the game, but not all of the DLC. Valhalla, it's a struggle to finish. I love the well, I wouldn't say the graphics, but I love the combat aspect, but everything else is kind of to some of the other stories, I think. But that's just my personal take. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see something exciting at the Xbox show in relation to Ubisoft.
Yeah.
There's some buzz in the background about some goings-ons between the two. But other than that, there were some nice darlings shown throughout the show today, and Devolver is pretty much the king. I mean, one of the most anticipated games. I wouldn't say anticipated, but one of the most exciting games for me that I'm looking forward to was the I think it was like the Road to Yumi or something like that, which was a Devolver game.
Trek to Yomi.
Trek to Yomi.
Yep.
Death's Door as well.
Yeah, Death's Door.
And that's on Xbox. I think that's.
They showed that in that the indie game fest like a couple of months ago, and that was like the darling of that show as well. Yeah. It was kind of I equate it to Tunic with Drinky Crow as the main character, but a lot more violent. So it just I'm definitely looking forward to that one. But man, really pumped for what's coming tomorrow. But that's all I got for the show so far. I'd give the Summer Games Fest like a thumbs up. Wouldn't give it an A, maybe a B- kind of thing, because there were some nice games shown throughout that. It's just pacing, but Keeley's learning. It's much better than what it was last year with random spurts every other week or every other day and stuff like that.
You know what the deal is, Fuzz, and let me ask you this: would you agree with me? When you give Keeley too much room, he does too much fluff. Like last year, the VGAs were almost near perfect, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because they had, COVID and everything going on, and it was like he could not have all of his friends and Hollywood people show up and singers and everybody else show up, right?
Mhm.
And so he was limited, and that really cut out the fluff. But now this year he's feeling a little bit looser again, and all of a sudden he throws in all this garbage. Like, I love Weezer, but Weezer did not need to be there, right? I mean, it's stupid.
Dude,
okay?
I felt old when Weezer was on stage. I was like, dude, are you serious? Is that Weezer?
Yeah, he should just pretend that there's like a pandemic going on all the time, and it would really like benefit his productions would benefit from it.
Let me put it in your mind.
Saying.
It might be that he had to do that to help pay for the show, because it's the reverse. Like in this case, people are coming to him like for an Xbox show, Xbox is paying people, hey, we want you on our stage. They try to get Elden Ring, right? I think it's the inverse for Keighley. He's got to pay for it. So I think maybe that's why we see all the ads coming in. Amazon was heavy in that show.
Amazon Gaming Prime. Yeah, they were sponsored for sure. They were center up front. But I agree. No, I definitely agree. I think Devolver thus far has had the most complete show. They don't have the biggest games, but every game they've shown was carefully curated. We get just the right amount of gameplay. All the games are super creative and super fun looking. Even graphically, a lot of the games have been amazing as well. So we're going to throw it there. What's up, Bad Bit? Bad Bit did follow you.
Look. See, I knew it. I knew it.
Do we have to boo this man? No, I'm just kidding.
Back me up here.
Why do you got to stalk him? Why do you have to stalk Luke everywhere he goes? I don't think he does this to you.
Joe.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Boo, Bad Bit.
That's right. That's right. Boo.
Oh my god, we can't do that. You should have came in here on your burner account, not your actual account, Bad Bit. under the other name. So, but appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Bad Bit and Kyle, man. Listen. If you want PlayStation news, that's where you go. PS Trophy Room, man. That's the best PlayStation
Kyle's
show.
great.
Period. Yeah, both amazing. So
no, just Kyle.
Oh, just Kyle. Oh yeah. Oh, my bad.
Again, you could cut out a lot of the fluff in the trophy room if you just got rid of Joe.
Oh my god! Look, Joe. Hey, look. Don't worry. I'll DM you afterwards. It'll be okay. We're not gonna have any issues. No, but appreciate you guys hanging out here, man. It's always awesome. We always have a ton of fun here. So now moving forward, because did I get to everybody about just the tone? I don't think I got to everybody about the tone.
Yeah, you did.
Did I did? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So now we're moving a little bit left. So I'm gonna throw it to somebody. We're gonna just leave it open. We'll freestyle here. What else do you guys want to talk about going forward? Luke, you got anything? Pong, Fuzz, anything, man? That you guys just kind of on the brain before we get these shows tomorrow for this big show?
Well, I think I want to talk about how they should be introducing Halo tomorrow. How much time should they be spending? It'll be the fourth or so introduction to this game. They really need to change some minds. They burned a lot of their marketing budget. I think they start the show off with Halo, maybe 5 minutes at the very most, preferably less. Talk about multiplayer, show some good campaign stuff real quick, and then move on and let the rest of the show go. Because Halo's it's a big one, but it's got to be proof in the pudding at this point. We don't need 4 new introductions, as it were.
No, absolutely. I do understand. It's in a precarious position because we've seen it multiple different times, and the last time they showed it wasn't universally well received as as some people had hoped. Although I didn't have a big issue with it.
I think they just need to somehow CG Craig to walk out on the stage and introduce Halo.
I kind of low key hope they use Craig as some kind of joke and or Easter egg or something in the game just to kind of make fun of themselves, But
still wearing a Craig shirt.
Yeah, something like that. Hopefully he's like an Easter egg or something, like a hidden brute, like in Halo 2 or something. But I agree. That's interesting, Luke, because that matters too. Because this has been, we've been going back and forth about should they start with Halo, and they can't end with Halo. It's coming out this year. That doesn't make sense, right?
Exactly. I think you started it, get it out at the gate, and then move on to the other stuff. Hit the known quantities, mix them in with the unknown quantities. But yeah, Halo. Craig needs to be in on the joke. They need to be self-aware. They've shown an ability to be self-aware as far as Xbox PR in general. So I look forward to seeing how they handle that. But it's time to talk multiplayer. They had single player stuff last year. Didn't go over great. You know that anyone and everyone is going to take a snapshot and zoom in to count pixels. For God's sakes, if people can complain about Aloy's hair, they're going to find something to complain about here, and those people are wasting their time. These games look incredible. I'm stoked for Halo Infinite, and I think it's going to be awesome.
I don't like the font and the user AI in Halo Infinite.
Oh, jeez. It's a dead game now. The game's dead.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. So we'll start there. We'll go. So that was a great damn question, Luke. So I'm gonna throw this to Pong. What do you think, man? Halo positioning. We're talking about Halo here, man. What do they need to show it a particular way? What would you like to see, Pong?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it. I think you hit them right away with Halo. I think you start the show with it. Everybody's expecting it. Everybody knows it's coming this year. It's out there. Everybody wants to see what they've been working on for the past 8 months since the delay, 7 months since the delay. They want more information, and I think you hit them with that multiplayer. The multiplayer is everything when it comes to not everything. I'll taper that back a little bit. Okay, I know the campaign is also ultra important, and what they're doing this time around with Halo Infinite is going to be different from what they've done in the past. So that is also on everybody's mind. But let's be realistic. What's going to keep people engaged with this for the next 10 years, since they're saying they have a 10-year plan, is going to be the multiplayer. And that's what a lot of people come to Halo for, is that aspect. So I think you need to roll right in there, show them exactly what you got with the multiplayer. Yes, give everybody a slice of the single player as well. I do not want them to ignore it. I want them to show it off. Again, as far as Craig and the previous show goes, I would personally probably stay away from it. I think they did enough when it first happened to acknowledge it, to play with it. Again, if you're going to give Craig like a special role or something in this, fine, do that. Have fun with that part. But otherwise, I would show a slice of a completely different area, all beautified up, right? With all the makeup on and everything else, and everybody looking good, all that good stuff. I would definitely do that, but the multiplayer is going to be the focus. And then I think you drop the beta date instantaneously, very soon. If not a shadow drop, if not, go play it now, within the next, I would say probably, I even think 30 days out is too long. I think within the next 2 weeks, you drop a beta date, let everybody that wants to come on in and experience it for themselves. And I think that right there would ease a lot of people's minds, even though a lot of people already are made up that they love it. No matter what, it doesn't matter. Looks great. Cool. But you want the other people to come in, roll in, get that feel again of Halo, back into their soul of a new Halo, which nobody's had for a while, and actually go, okay, all right, now I can't wait until November or whenever the release date is. I can't wait for this to drop, right? I'm ready. I'm gonna get the crew ready. We're going all in, Spartans, right? So I think that's what you do, is you hit them with that multiplayer right off the bat, and show them exactly what this is going to be all about. Maybe even talk about Forge a little bit, because that's huge in the community. Yeah. That's huge in the community. And there's been a lot, I mean, they haven't said anything, but there's been a lot of talk behind the scenes that this Forge is going to blow everything else previously out of the water, that pretty much you're going to be able to create whatever game style, game mode you want. Basically, if somebody wants a battle royale out the gate, they're going to be able to make it in Forge. So if that's the case, show off Forge, get everybody pumped about that, thinking about what they want to do with that creation system. And that's the way you start off E3.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Halo, obviously, since it's center, it's right there, center target. I mean, it's the one game we know is coming this year. They've already confirmed that. For the most part, 343 themselves. But yeah, no, you obviously put it front and center, show the upgrade, show the difference between what we last saw, what they've done thus far. So this whole idea of a beta, is that something that we know for sure is happening? Because I hear about a Halo beta, but I don't recall ever.
Yeah, they've done flightings and stuff before. Done flight? Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So I must have.
Yeah, you might have been sleeping through that. I don't know, but yeah, no, that's been there. Yeah, that's been there in the past, and it's a big part of it. That they do before multiplayer. They do a lot of stress tests and stuff like that. So I think that's an important part that a lot of people are sitting on to get involved with.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and throw this over to you then, Fuzz, man. So Halo, where do you think it needs to be, man? Like, what should we see?
I'm not thinking it's the first one to start off, because it's a bigger quantity than Forza Horizon 5. And I think you start the pace off with stuff that's Game Pass related. This is going to be a big show about Game Pass, kind of indirectly. So, and I've been kind of kicking this around for a bit, whether they started off with Horizon 5, kind of surprise people, get the pace started, and then you can climb up to Halo and then finish off with something that's totally left field or unexpected. But you either start with Horizon 5 or you start with Battlefield 2042. And at the end of 2042, you announce that it's going to be in Game Pass day and date. But the reason why I say you put that before Halo is because Halo is the bigger quantity. You're going to need more time to talk about a little bit of the campaign and a lot of breakdown on some of the new things that they're adding to the multiplayer. So you give Halo it's just due at least about a 10-minute run through, maybe 30% of it campaign, 70% of it multiplayer, or maybe even a full 15 minutes. But put that about mid-show, because that's going to hold over where instead of it lulling, that's where you put Halo, and it keeps the pretty much the pace, or the momentum going forward. But I think it's a mid-show, kind of bump, because it's going to start off, somewhat exciting with either Horizon 5 or with Battlefield. And then it might have a little bit of a lull because they'll throw in design labs in there, because I was hoping we'd hear about it before E3, but it seems like it might be kind of pitched in there. I know they could do it as a blog post, but they'll definitely go into detail since it's returning with the new controller, and who knows, maybe a Series 3. But I think Halo's mid-show to kind of carry at least or to reinvigorate those that may have gone through that lull when they do like a quick sizzle reel or something like that of some of the indies that aren't as desirable in comparison to some of the ones from like Devolver and the ones that we've been waiting for a while, like Tunic and 12 Minutes and stuff like that.
Fuzzy. You got limited vision here, brother. Come on now.
Pong is a car salesman.
Look at this. 5 studio acquisitions are going to carry that middle of the show. Don't you worry about the middle of the show, brother. Haven't you heard the rumors?
I'm thinking you save that for the end, because one of those 5 has a soon-to-be released game. So that's the game that no one knows about that they show at the end to close the show.
Well, we do know about it, but we just know the code name of it. That's all. But no, I'm just giving you a hard time. We aren't going to see all 5 acquisitions, but there's plenty of content for the middle. That's the only thing I would say between third parties. I don't think we're really going to have a lull unless they throw in some fluff about the 20-year anniversary and stuff, unless they do some studio and talking to people. I really don't like a studio tours and stuff, where they talk to everybody that of their memories of the 20 years of Xbox. I think that's the only lull that I'm really worried about, because I think they do have enough to carry it through. But I definitely appreciate that perspective, because I understand exactly what you're saying. You build up the tempo as you go through. And work your way to that. I just think the middle is so full. I really don't think they even need to do that. I think you hit them with Halo. The middle is going to be fine. You get them with Forza Horizon 5 in the middle, along with, the acquisition and the unknown IP. And then you hit them with, the third party stuff. Battlefield gameplay is going to be huge. Despite all the divisiveness, it's still going to be a big deal. The Far Cry stuff. And then you got plenty to show at the end. That was my only thought, but I definitely know what you're going for here.
No, I do agree that and you got to think about, we got to even hark back to their previous C3s. Even the last few have been the majority games. And those have been times where we didn't have as many expectations. They didn't have as many studios at the time, and they still managed to put together a 90-minute show that was a majority games. They just to continue that cadence with just the quality being higher because of the acquisitions and them showing a ton more first party and bigger announcements, as far as Game Pass, because we have, bigger third party games going to Game Pass. I think we're going to get, you're right about them having enough to show. It's just what's ready to show at this particular point. That may be the only issue. So they got plenty though, as far as quantity.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting to see how they handle Bethesda, because Bethesda now needs to be completely synonymous with Xbox.
Yep.
And they're used to having their own show. So they now need to recognize Bethesda to bring in people that have the brand recognition for Bethesda, right? Fallout, Elder Scrolls, what have you. Moreover, they need to also show why they are also Xbox, and that those two are one and the same, and that if you were previously Xbox, you are now also Bethesda, and if you were previously just Bethesda, you are now also in the Xbox family. And how they navigate that will be very interesting, and it'll probably be something that we're talking about as content creators for the next few weeks. How did they incorporate Todd Howard and his group? How did they showcase Bethesda titles and still keep it in the umbrella of this 23 plus Xbox game studios, developers, etc.? That's going to be a big talking point.
Yeah, no doubt,
absolutely.
Luke. That's interesting you brought that up because I've gone back and forth on this. At one time, I was, hey, they're still going to end it with Bethesda stuff and kind of keep it grouped together. But now I've settled in on they're going to mix everything together. Do you think they're going to mix it?
I think so. That's where I was going. I think they're going to pepper, because I think Pete Hines is going to be one of the people that hosts as well. I'm sure Todd will probably be one of the people that we see as well there. But I feel like they're going to kind of pepper things in. They didn't have as much time to put this together. Remember, they kind of did it at the last, they've had maybe 6 months, 7 months since they officially, well, not even, when did they officially?
No, officially was March.
It's like March. So, okay, they've only had a few months. So to officially like talk about things and get this squared away. So that's going to be interesting. I didn't even think about that, Luke, and that's a damn good thing to keep an eye on, brother. For sure. So let's get this over to you, Centurion. Get your quick opinion on, just Halo and just how it needs to be viewed, and what do you think we're going to see from Halo?
Well, I really do think they need to show Halo in a good light, especially when they're going to reveal that they're going to stop making consoles and they're going to show us what the server racks look like for the Series X integrated in the xCloud. And they're going to really throw some spice on it when they say that Ubisoft Plus is coming to Game Pass. That would actually be kind of fun. That's actually one thing. I'd never fed into that, but I really lately with everything with Ubisoft, I'm kind of anyways. Halo. I can't really agree with I have to agree with everybody here. I couldn't disagree with anybody here on anything they've said. Halo definitely needs to be put in a good light. Should it be shown first? I think I'm kind of with Fuzzy on this one. I don't think they should really Halo. I feel like a tone has been set, and I don't know. I just don't know if that's the tone that you really want in the beginning of the show, because it just feels like that's going to be one thing that is looked at under a microscope no matter what. We're going to have slowed down replays of every second of anything they show Halo, and we're going to hear all these complaints and other stuff about how it didn't look right.
You gotta be more optimistic, man.
Well, the only thing is that people really just can't accept the fact that technically we're not looking at a finished image. We're looking at an image pumped through a computer that is streamed and that is pumped through our I'm just saying that there is just so much that could go wrong between point A to point B, which is your eyes, to where you can't really sit there and assess a game based on a stream, no matter what. I just feel like that the games shouldn't be really looked at as that hardcore of a microscope. And
you just feel like Halo's going to be more scrutinized.
Well, come on, let's really think about it. How long, like, does anybody here really know the existence of Craig's lifespan? Wasn't it like what, seconds? Like, if we really think about it. So that's where I'm like, if we're going to sit there and we're going to stop and pause our, game and waste countless moments of our life to make sure that all the pixels on Craig's face looks right, I don't really know if a developer can compete with that. I just do feel that I want it to kind of just be looked at as like Halo is, dude, we had Nadala stand there with a Halo shirt on. I want Halo to almost have that feeling again. Like, I remember standing outside a GameStop to the wee hours of the morning, just waiting to get my copy of Halo 3, just turning on the news and seeing all the news captions about how Halo was having just this insane, like, Halo almost in a way put game fanatics on the map. Like, people never ever thought that you would have this line going out in the middle of a parking lot and everybody just standing around for Halo. And this is just one game. So I just really want to feel like days of old, where we have those glory days of everybody's just excited to play a game. Everybody's excited to play a game together. Halo had some great multiplayer moments. I have some of the best multiplayer moments I have with a lot of friends playing Halo 3. All I just want is honestly a really fun show. I feel like when I listen to all the stories about E3, everybody talks more about the brotherhood and everybody's sitting around talking about games. I could care less about, how great Craig's face really looked.
I agree. I mean, that's why we're all here at the end of the day, brother. So we're going to keep this thing moving.
Right. I'm not trying to be like that guy, but
nah, you're good.
I really do feel that Halo does need to set a different tone. And I feel like if they're going to launch the show with Halo, dude, I just want to say, hopefully that you are really ready to definitely, what if it doesn't go off well? Does that set the tone for the whole show?
I mean, that's a whole nother question. I don't know.
See, that's the only thing I'm really like, because it's so heavily scrutinized. Like, do you really want to throw them dice and be like, well, we could potentially set the tone for the entire show because everybody's going to be watching the Halo portion just a little too aggressively heavily?
Yeah, I don't even, as me personally, I don't care about that.
Nope.
Halo's going to be phenomenal.
Nope.
Like,
you don't worry about it.
It's going to be phenomenal. Yeah,
exactly. You just
I don't worry about it. It's like, I know Halo's going to be a great game. I've made that up. I know Halo is not going to disappoint. I was not disappointed when I saw what they showed last time.
Yeah. So I do have a question here. That's something that we don't talk about, and we really haven't talked about much. And this is their approach, Xbox's approach to this E3. Obviously, the terms are different this time around. So I want to start with you real quick, Luke. Remember, and this is something interesting. Generally, Xbox puts a label on their E3. They give it a label or some kind of title. This year, we haven't gotten that. This has not been a very braggadocious, I guess you could say, Xbox. They haven't put a title, a label. They haven't came out and said this is going to be our biggest first party launch lineup ever. We're going to show X amount of games, 35 games like they did the past 2 or 3 E3s. We haven't heard anything about that. So do you think that's more so just due to, obviously COVID had a big impact on the last year and a half or so, but do you think that's more so due to that, or you think they've just learned from the last 2 to 3 E3s and that's something that they've consciously done?
Well, I think everything with Microsoft PR is conscious at this point. In this last 2 years, we've seen a hyper self-aware PR group that has been running the show over there. And last year, Aaron Greenberg was coming out. He was tempering expectations. He was giving people heads up for what to expect, dispelling rumors. There's been none of that this year. And that in and of itself could be telling. I mean, once we have the benefit of hindsight, it'll be very telling. But it's odd to me that they've not really tempered anyone's expectations. And I'll respectfully disagree with Centurion. I think Halo absolutely should be put under all that scrutiny. Whenever you watch a champion player, fighter, team out on the field, battlefield, wherever they are, they need to be able to rise above expectations and do with what people said can't be done. That's what makes champions, makes people great. They delayed their flagship console launching title a year. And so they absolutely need to deliver. All eyes will be on it. There will always be people disappointed, but they have changed the game for how they're going about Halo. We saw all the marketing dollars go out there. We know they're having a free multiplayer component to this game. We know it's launching into Game Pass, and it darn well better be fantastic. It has to be fantastic. And for us to pretend like those expectations aren't there is not fair. I will never be one of the pixel counting people that spend their life memeing how many hair strands Aloy has or whether or not Craig is there or any of that.
I'm not trying to, I'm just saying, put a definition on fantastic.
What do you mean, like me specifically, or like a Metacritic score, sales record?
See, that's where for me, it's just the idea of how opened for interpretation the idea of a fantastic game is, because like if you put the controller in somebody's hands who has no interest in Halo whatsoever, the odds of them calling it a fantastic game are pretty low. But if you put the controller in someone's hand who lives and breathes first person shooters and they're like, no, this game is fantastic, it almost has like a different weight to it. So that's where
let's use the barometers of this. It needs to be able to exist in a world where Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, Rainbow Six Siege, and Destiny are all free to play, high multiplayer experiences with high player bases. If it can exist alongside there, that's fantastic. If you go on the campaign side, if it Metacritics on a level 85 or above to where it can be, comfortably in there with great games like Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Ratchet and Clank on their competitor side, that's fantastic. If it's a player base count and they exist across PC, console, and xCloud, that's fantastic. So I suppose it does depend upon your barometer, but they've built this game to carry it. They've got Master Chief on the boxes for Series X's. It needs to deliver and exist in a world alongside those heavy hitters.
I agree. So competition is a funny thing. Sometimes we forget about that through all of this. Halo does have to show up. It does have to show up. So I don't think any of us particularly on this panel, are doubting Halo. And I think even what we seen last time was fantastic for the most part. But I do agree with you, Luke, that it does have to coexist. I mean, they have another game that they're going to show called Battlefield 2042 that people are excited about as well. So it does have to show up. They're going to be showing that gameplay as well there. I believe the full reveal gameplay. We just got the bunch of the CGI stuff last time. So I want to make sure I got to everybody on the Halo the Halo topic. I know I got that. But yeah, so once again, chat, we're talking E3. So I'm going to give a couple quick shout outs here before we just move on here. What's up, Caitlin? We got Shonsu Mod of the Year. What's up, Zinc? Shout out to Mav out there, Boogie, Rain, She Snow. Everybody hanging out in chat. I greatly appreciate you guys. Hit that like button, man. We appreciate the continued support. Subscribe if you have not already. So let's just throw another one out there, man. Let's keep this thing going, man. Anybody else got anything? Fuzz, Pong, Centurion, Luke. Anything else you guys want to talk about, man, that's been going on?
I just have my wish list for Horizon 5, but it's an ongoing thing, but I'll keep it short.
How many emails to Playground already?
I feel like we're gonna hear like
it hasn't filled their inbox yet, where I'm getting bounce backs just yet. But there's a few.
I feel like we're gonna hear him start like thumbing through some papers and be like, and he's just gonna be like, "Well, these were actually my top notes." And
okay. So to be fair to Luke, because he doesn't know, Luke, just so you know that Fuzzy is a racing game extraordinaire, and this man has had words with Turn 10 and others about their games because he likes to critique things and try to make them better, and he does have quite a way with words if you can't tell already. So the man really knows what he's talking about.
I mean, that's good of him to go out of his way to talk to the guys who made Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon, and they need to know. You got to put them in their place.
Well, it's not as much putting them in their place, but there's like, for me, I have pretty much all the cars in Horizon 5 right now, or Horizon 4 right now, except for 2. And I have like $2 billion or $200 billion in there. And I'm trying to think of like other ways to kind of extend that. So it's not like I have this pile of cash that I can't really buy anything since I have all the cars. And I would like for them to also focus on clubs. Like they did the clubs thing, which is cool. And it lasts for about 2 months where people are active on it. But after that, it kind of fades out. But one of the things I would like to see them do is add logos that are going to be for the club. So if you create a club, you can either be the logo artist or you can designate somebody in your club as a logo artist. And then that would go on the cars. And it's only like a logo that you can create and you can import. So you don't have to spend 22 hours creating a piece of toast or something like that as far as your logo or something. But have it where the logo could be on the cars, the bumper, the hood, or wherever you want to put it. Have it on like t-shirts, because they like to do a lot of the clothing where it's like chicken suits and clown outfits and things. Just have like regular clothes. But if you want to have a t-shirt with your club logo, you can have that. Have a cap with your club logo, have that. And have it where maybe there's a little bit more customization for the avatars of the people driving the cars. Expand on the houses, although you don't have to have a lot of houses in the game because it's just basically like a quick travel point. If you haven't got all the signs to do quick travel anywhere, but have it where you can take pictures of multiple cars. Like right now, unless you have a group of friends that are going to be at a certain spot to take pictures, you can't really take pictures of, like, let's say 3 of your cars. Like I'm a big fan of taking like generational pictures of Mustangs or Camaros. And I'd like to have like the 69 Camaro next to the, the 2010 Camaro next to, the 2016 Camaro in like one picture without having to, convince somebody that may not have that car to like, all right, can you park your car by the tree so I can take this picture type of thing. So just quality of life things, but there's so much that they do right. It's just little tweaks here and there I'd like to see them do for this next iteration.
Is this Horizon you're talking about?
Yeah, for Horizon.
So that's a cool thing because Horizon has been out for a long time, and you are clearly an end game player. And something that I think, because I mean, like, I don't have billions of dollars in that game, but I played a lot of it. Now, that's hyper relevant because games now are existing with committed fan bases for a long time, and in a world where we're far more connected, where Game Pass exists, and they're going to have to sustain player bases for a longer period of time. Yeah. And I sincerely hope, and I would expect, as many games do, they've got a method of communication like Discords or whatnot, where they're going to start communicating with their community on future stuff, because these ideas are for the hardcore. They're for the people that care, but those people keep your game alive, and that's also relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fuzz is super hardcore, man. I've been pushing, trying to at Turn 10 and Playground. Like, man, this is the guy you want as far as a community manager or something. You got to put him, do something, use that brain that he has, man. So one thing I want to talk about too. Do we know which Forza we're getting? Because I've heard what they shown last year. Look, so it's going to be Horizon this time. Because what they,
I'm leaning to believe that it's going to be Horizon.
Yep.
Personally,
why did what they showed last year look like Motorsport? Then the garage.
They just wanted to talk about the new engine and stuff like that. And COVID kind of delayed a lot of that. Like, I think Motorsport would have probably come out by now if it wasn't for COVID. They have a lot more stuff to kind of finish up with the engine, kind of like with the slip space deal with Halo. Doing that new engine, they want to make sure that thing comes out as bug free as possible when they launch it, and they're trying to get as much packed in there, in time. With Halo, it's a little bit different because there's going to be a cross-gen thing, but with Motorsport being just strictly, at least at the time of announcement, it was strictly for the Series X and Series S. Yep. I think they still need some time. Like, they're still doing.
Zink in the chat said Motorsport. I don't know where he said they got a month turned in as a monthly live podcast. Nope. I don't know. No? Okay.
Nope.
No, they're doing testing.
Okay.
And I'm going to be in the round 2 for Motorsport testing.
Love you, Zink, but it's still, Motorsport's still in testing and everything else.
I would like for them to release it in current form for the series consoles, but there's a couple of things that they're having issue. And I hate putting this as like a rumor because there was no plan of it being on the Xbox One X or Xbox One S, but they're having some issues where they're trying to test things from a multiplayer standpoint. But that shouldn't be an issue when they go to actually launch the game. But the some of the testing they're trying to make sure the multiplayer aspect part is wrapped up, and then they're going to dive in a little bit deeper for the AI racing and things like that. They already got the tire models even better than what they've had in the past, which were pretty good. And the same thing with track temps and things. But Motorsport, my best guesstimate, they're going to hold it until next fall. It could be ready in a very bare bones form by late August, early September. But I think they'd rather push Horizon 5 out the door first on the old engine, let that breathe a little, give the Motorsport team a little bit more time, or the Turn 10 team a little bit more time, and then be able to carry that engine over to the next Horizon, where they'll either call it Horizon 6 or call it something different, or maybe even do kind of like what Gran Turismo was thinking and blend the two, where it's like you can race to the track and then you get to the track event to race on the track, and then you can, after the event, you race back to your house or drift around the track or something along those lines.
That's been my idea all along, especially with them. It's not even just the engine, obviously, Fuzzy, this time around, since they are trying, from everything that they've talked about, they're trying to make this more of a games as a service. They're making Motorsport more of a hub kind of deal that's ever going to be expanding with cars, tracks, locations, etc. And that is a great idea. I think we talked about that when I first joined this show a while back, was about that possibility of eventually combining Horizon into that and creating like, two separate kind of worlds that they expand on, but you can access both from the main motorsport hub.
That's an
that would be
interesting
fantastic.
idea.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting idea. That's something that, I mean, it's realistically, I mean, obviously it would take a little time to put together to flesh out the idea, but just the prospect of that happening though, because they do have the best, like, circuit racer, and they have the best, well, arguably the best circuit racer. Then they have the best, kind of arcade racer in Horizon. So combining those two things would be very, very, very interesting. So looks like Zink is going to die on that hill, man, as far as motorsport.
That's okay.
But it's all good.
Okay,
We'll fight. We're less
than 12 hours away.
Right,
We're like 12 hours away from now.
But I'll wait until I'm actually, well, I can't even talk because of the NDA for the group.
Yeah, no doubt.
Don't get thrown out the test.
They're listening to you. They got you bugged, Fuzzy. They got you. Man. The way you hit them up, they got you. They probably got people watching you right now live.
Yeah, there's a van outside. If you hear a knock at the door, I might be taken away somewhere. No.
Too much. No. So we're having a lot of fun here, guys. We appreciate you guys hanging out, man. But we're just shooting the shit, man. Talking a little bit about E3. So I do want to talk about something else too. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to bring up, Pong. Anything in particular?
I got a million things to bring up. But go right ahead. Let's get your stuff out of the way. Let's go.
No, go ahead. I really want you to go. I promise.
No, I mean, I'm living in speculation town, right? So again, this week has been crazy, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but Steele and I talked about this. I talked about this with people behind the scenes. There's an extra bounce in everybody's step this week. There is extra energy out there. Luke touched on it. I think by talking about how nobody's come out from Microsoft this time trying to temper expectations. I think that Bethesda, Todd Howard and his team with Pete Hines have already had an influence on Microsoft on how to approach this type of E3 and what they can do with it and how to build your community up. But I just, 2 weeks ago, we heard everybody, and I'm talking about, again, within the community, a lot of the people who do talk to people within Microsoft and do know people at Xbox, etc. We're all coming out and saying, hey guys, I don't know, temper it. It seems like they're going to kind of play it safe. We heard a lot of that. Again, I listened to a ton of shows, listened to a ton of people, and that's what I was hearing a lot of. And there was a lot of kind of downness. And as this week came upon us, starting late last week and then into this week, the energy, you can feel it. There's something different about this E3. And I really think this has to go with, there's been a lot of speculation. There's a lot of speculation all the time before any big show. But this year it's different with that future games video coming out and Phil and Satya reconfirming what is going on and what's about, what their plans are. I really think just really opened up kind of the opportunity or opened up the possibilities of what we could see tomorrow. Now, again, I'm not saying everything is going to come to fruition. There's a lot of stuff that's going to take a lot of time, and we're not going to see stuff for years, and we're not going to get all 5 acquisitions that everybody's talking about, tomorrow. That ain't going to happen. But what I'm saying is that I really think that this is a position that Xbox has not been in for a very long time, especially with the amount of content that they have coming from first parties and even from deals. 360 was an incredible generation, but a lot of it was third party. A lot of it, I mean, again, that's just the way it was, and by default because Sony tripped so badly out of the gate. But I think that this year they're really in control of their destiny. And this is really a great time for Xbox to imprint themselves upon everybody. There's not a lot of people. Sony decided not to show up at E3 again. Nintendo's going to be there, but Nintendo does what Nintendo does. Xbox has a chance to stamp this E3 in pure green, right? They have a chance to just cover this thing in Xbox so that when we end on Tuesday, everybody comes out just talking Xbox nonstop. And that's exciting.
That's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, it's going to happen anyway, but I think they can really drop. Again, if I was Phil, I'd drop everything and just walk off stage and say, see you all on Xbox Live, because that's where everybody's going to be spending their time. I know that's not how they're going to do it, but I think they have so much that they can talk about this time. content, not other stuff, strictly content, that I think that we are going to see a special show tomorrow. And I think that, with the likes of Project Omen from Arcane, talked about being there again, another new IP along with Project Typhoon, which we know is Avalanche Studios, which is probably the acquisition that we can almost lock in for tomorrow as being announced, and maybe one more, but I think Avalanche is the one that you'd place your bets on right now. And Project Typhoon, this is new stuff that we haven't seen before. And this is coming from first party studios. And that's the cool part about this. We got a great show last year. Again, the Halo stuff kind of clouded over a little bit of what happened, but we saw a lot of great stuff last year. But now you've got this stuff, this another round of new IP coming from first party studios. And then I think what's coming this year is a little bit bigger than what it feels like, maybe because we know that there's so much in 2022 and 2023 that I think that we're kind of missing out. If they talk about Forza Horizon 5, and they talk about, and obviously Halo we know is coming, right? We could get Wolfenstein 3 surprise announcement too. But even just with Halo and Forza Horizon 5, and again, or Forza Horizon Mexico, whatever you want to say, I'm dying on the hill that we're still going to get Starfield this year, right? So I'm still here that we're going to get that. But even those two, plus all the Game Pass deals, all the third-party deals, the smaller games that we kind of forget about, like 12 Minutes, Tunic, Scorn, possibly Stalker 2, possibly the Gunk is still due out this year. At Crossfire X, we haven't heard from. Man, we got the Ascent dropping into Game Pass. We've got Dark Alliance dropping into Game Pass. Now we know pretty sure, 90% sure, Back 4 Blood's dropping into Game Pass. My God. I mean, we got so much content that this E3 could definitely go down as a really, really special moment for Xbox. And I can't wait. I can't wait.
So I want to ask a quick question. So we've gotten a smidgen of this so far, a little bit of both, Summer Games Fest and E3. How are you guys feeling about having both of them? Has that changed at all now that we've seen them kind of side by side? And although, we have a whole, essentially a week-long event, because this is something that Luke, and I'm going to start with you here. We talked about, can those two coexist? Because this is something where this is brand new for the industry. So just so far with us having both of them, where are you at? You think that, the old format would be better, or, should they be able to coexist?
They should absolutely be able to coexist, and we should want them to coexist because, like Sony and Microsoft, they'll compete with one another. And something that Jeff Keighley has shown an ability to do, and he gets a lot of, I would argue, unnecessary criticism. He gets a lot of necessary criticism, so don't misunderstand me. But what he has done since parting ways with his media entity long ago, in building the Game Awards and evolving that from having the Chic Hydro Man to now where he's able to have his own summer game spotlight in Summer Game Fest, where he's able to go from one to the other and improve each year. I would argue that the Game Awards have gotten better every year. From a
production standpoint, I agree.
Absolutely. And you can argue content here and there, and that would probably be dependent on the games that are being made. Yeah. But there's a healthy competition that exists between Keighley and E3, and that's a good thing. We should want that because better believe that next year Sony's going to be involved. Nintendo's going to up their stake. Microsoft's going to up their stake to represent and show well. And why would we not want that?
I agree. So. No, I 100% agree. It's crazy because I didn't know how this would look, Luke. I was worried. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, I don't know, because obviously he didn't leave that situation on the best terms. He has, and I do give Jeff a lot of credit. He does get a lot of flack, necessary and unnecessary, but he has done a lot for the industry. He's a pillar. We wouldn't have a award show really of any sort, not to the capacity that we do, if it wasn't for him putting that together as well as improving it every year. So I do give him his just due there. Now he is a bit polarizing.
Sure, absolutely.
Considering a lot of his takes and just the optics of a lot of things. He took a few shots at the ESA this week, kind of funny shots at ESA this week. But so so just going back to you here, Luke, real quick, before we move on to everyone else around the panel, going forward, what would be your suggestions? Like, what would be some of the criticism just thus far seeing the first two side by side?
I mean, last year was awful in terms of it being dragged out. I thought I wanted that and I didn't. So I'm very pleased with its consolidated portion. They've got to find a way to continue trimming the fat or adjusting what we should expect. We knew that the Sonic Symphony, we knew that a couple musical performers would be in there, but some of it just felt very out of place. And then there were times where we would cut to things that he was clearly using to help fund the show, which is important, but it felt so awkward. I'm thinking about you guys remember the 1 second snippet for Valorant? That just felt weird. It wasn't funny. It wasn't cute. It didn't work. So if it was a bit, it missed. It was a bad bit, you might say. But
nice job, Luke.
Good one.
Thank you. Some things like that need to go, and I think there's a self-awareness there that needs to get cleaned up. And I want Sony involved. I mean, Sony's got to be there. They've sold the most consoles, and they've had the best AAA single players. I don't know what caveats you want. God of War and Ghost of Tsushima, that kind of stuff. Spider-Man. They bring the pain, and if they're bringing it, that means everyone else has got to bring it in order to compete, and that's good. That's what I want. So yeah.
Okay, no, I agree. I would. I don't know if you mentioned this, but the musical acts too, we can cut those a bit shorter. I mean, they kind of felt like filler. I know. I mean, Weezer is great, but I'm not 19
it was weird.
18. It was a bit out of place. I felt like it took me back somewhere where I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go there. Yeah, I didn't want.
That was another bad bit.
Oh my goodness. Well, we got 3-bit in here too. So
3-bit. What's up, man?
3-bit's the good bit.
Oh yeah, the good. Okay, he's a 3-bit. You're the good bit, my guy. So shout out to 3-bit in the chat, man. Appreciate you guys hanging out, watching this. But yeah. So I mean, anything else, man? We're just spitballing in here, fellas. Anything else, man? Off the top of the dome. Anybody else? Luke? Anything? Centurion? Fuss?
Well, I like the fact that they have both of them out there. I think the big thing is they each kind of got to find their lane per se. Like for E3. If it's going to be Ubisoft stuff where like the days of old where they have like these dances and musicals and things like that, maybe that should be moved to the Summer Games Fest. I don't know. I always look at E3 kind of like I used to look at SEMA, which is like the automotive version. And it's all about the publishers and the devs showing their product to get you to buy it. You don't necessarily need to do the long drawn out interviews and things like that. Save that for the on-site stuff. So if you're a journalist or a YouTuber and you're there and you're interviewing the devs, that's something that they don't need to necessarily broadcast on the E3 show. The Summer Games Fest, you could show the indies, you could show the AAAs and things like that, and then maybe go a little bit more into detail with the developers, but don't make it like a whole hour for one game type of thing. But I think that would be like if they each take that type of lane or that type of approach, I think that will help complement each other as well as still be competitive enough to kind of draw certain developers to one show versus the other type of thing. Whether it be Sony strictly at the Summer Games Fest and Xbox strictly at E3, whatever the case may be, and Nintendo do its own thing and be at neither or be at both and do its own thing still. But I think they just got to kind of figure out or navigate what they want to be about, whether it's interviews and some games footage or just games footage and then deal with the public and the journal or the press at the facility, because fingers crossed in person E3 next year.
Yeah, hopefully
going forward type of thing.
That balance is tough though. That's the hardest part is that balance, man. Because depending on what you have to show, how long, what the time constraints are, it's very difficult, man. Very, very difficult. So no, I agree there. I agree. So going forward, man, I just wanted to talk about something else as well. Talk about the elephant in the room, and that's Nintendo, because them being back at E3 is significant. People are talking about it. Obviously, Nintendo fans are talking about it, but I think people really don't understand how big of a deal, Nintendo being back, being part of E3 is, in actuality, because let's be honest, all Nintendo really has to do is show Zelda or Breath of the Wild 2. It's a wrap. Like, that's all they don't need to show anything else. I'm not trying to make it a competition, but let's be honest, the headlines, we're not going to hear much about anything else if they show something of that caliber, or like a Metroid, anything like that. It's so I want to dive into that. We'll talk to you first, Luke, just about. I mean, I don't know if you have any expectations for Nintendo, but Nintendo has been on they do what they do, and they do it the best. You know, they've been on a run with the Switch is outselling everything almost 2-1 at this particular point in time. So where you at with the Nintendo conference? Because that could literally be probably the talk of the weekend. It could end up being realistically the major point of the weekend.
You're right. Nintendo. I don't know. Like,
Come on,
here's the
Luke.
thing, man. Here's the thing.
Agree, Luke. Agree.
I'm just over Nintendo, and they've stopped making games for me long ago. Unless they're putting Metroid Prime 4 out there.
Nope.
I just don't care anymore. And I just don't.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Luke, what?
I'm sorry. They burned me, man. I loved my Switch. I loved Breath of the Wild. And then they did nothing else for me except for rehashes. Wow. And I love those rehashes, but I shouldn't have to keep paying for them in a world where smart delivery exists, in a world where games that are backward compatible exist. They ditched Virtual Console twice in favor of this new system, and it's backwards, and I don't want to keep supporting them with my money.
Wow.
And I say that, and Nintendo has this obnoxious power where I might still, and I hate that too. But if Breath of the Wild is just more Breath of the Wild, I'm not there for it, even though I loved the first game because games have evolved.
Mario Kart.
I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Mario Kart 8 is a godsend of a racing game, but it's still Mario Kart 8. I'm just over Nintendo, I think. And
wow, I did not expect that, Luke.
They broke me, man. They broke me.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you doing that live. Because a lot of people won't do that with their Nintendo. People like to take that Nintendo part of themselves and hide it in the closet. But I think a lot of us really feel that way about Nintendo. So I understand. I get it. I mean, I'm sure if they announce something good, you'll still be excited. Either way, because you enjoy playing video games. But Nintendo's a tough one, though, because I mean, ultimately, what you just said does not matter at all. As long as they show something Mario, as long as they show something, it's still gonna get the draw that it does. So, we're going around here. Pong, Fuzz, Centurion. Anything about potentially? We'll leave Pong out of it. He don't have nothing good to say about it.
Yeah, I do. I respect that hustle. You know that. I respect the hustle. Again, it's not Nintendo's fault the fans let them do whatever they want to them. They just take it and say, yes, give me more, please. I mean, again, that's not Nintendo's fault. So I totally respect the hustle. I'll make this short. Nintendo could win me. I'll never say never when it comes to video gaming. So they could do something that gets me back into the fold again after decades of not spending a dime on Nintendo. I definitely could be brought back in and sold on what they've got, because they do have some things with indie games and with some JRPGs that you can't find elsewhere that I would love to do. Just not enough for me to commit. Again, I'm a budget gamer. Sorry, guys. I don't have all the money in the world. I don't just go buy everything. So for me, the value has to be there. So they could certainly win me over. But a big step would be to start upgrading everything that they have in place.
They just got those servers upgraded after 20 years.
And they need to do another 20-year upgrade on those servers as well, because that's how far behind they are. But no, seriously, Nintendo can win a lot of E3. I think Xbox still dominates, but I think they could. They show that Switch Pro, it's time. They've downplayed this. They said they're only showing Switch software, and that's it at their show. They could be pulling a fast one.
What if they don't show it, though? That's another thing.
Well,
what if they don't?
We know it's going into production. They don't have the secret anymore, so now it's just when Nintendo wants to do it, right? They always do things on their time, and if things get spoiled, they will purposely move things around just to do it on their whim, right? So I think it has to be soon, but I'm just saying, what I'd like to see from Nintendo at E3 is the Switch Pro, Breath of the Wild 2, package deal coming out this fall, this holiday 2021. It'll be the biggest thing ever. Everybody will go nuts for it. And that would be it. They're gonna show also that would be cool if I ever got back into it again, would be the 2D Metroid that has been supposedly finished and is just waiting to be launched. And that would also be sweet. And then of course they're going to have all their other stuff. Who knows? Maybe Smash Brothers character announcement or something like that. That would be cool on the E3 stage. But again, Nintendo's going to do what they do. And their fans are going to say, yay, no matter what. They're just going to throw money at them no matter what. So, you know what? I don't blame them if they just come out and show a bunch of, old Mario rehashes or whatever the case may be and sell them to you for $60 again. That's what they're going to do. So, but I think that they still have a chance to win people like myself back. It's just, I need to see it. That's all.
Nintendo is tough, man. Like we talk about it on this show a lot, Luke. I do not let Nintendo slide at all. So definitely wanted to cover. So Fuzz, Centurion, I don't know if you guys wanted to just talk about that at all. Any expectations as far as Nintendo goes? Because I think from now till now until there's they're obviously, I think the two biggest shows are going to be the Xbox show and the Nintendo show, inarguably. So go ahead, Fuzz.
Now, I was saying Switch Pro, but I know that they're supposed to only do like a software show, so I don't know if that Treehouse part of it will include the what do you call them, the Switch Pro, but that's probably something that they should at least announce. I know that the regular Switch is selling hand over hand right now, but they at least need to let some people know, because I'm not buying a regular Switch with the potential of a Switch Pro being out there, so it's like, just announce it. Go ahead, announce it. It's, everybody will line up, pre-order or try to put their name in or start camping out now for it. But the Switch Pro is about the only thing. Outside of that, I'm just glad that they're back at E3. All things considered, they were like one of the first ones to leave E3 before, so to have them back, it's nostalgia all over again. So yeah, that's it.
All right, Centurion, anything you want to say about the potential, Nintendo show?
How can I lead up anything that's already been said here? It's good to see they're coming back to E3. It's good to see that the importance of E3 is starting to shine through. And I can't deny what Pong Soul said. I buy some of the rehatches of these games just to kind of some titles I've missed in the past, but I'm one of those who kind of bought some games on the virtual console and lost some money on that. So yeah, I don't feed into Nintendo too much.
Wow. Dang, well, this is rare. Luke, I thought you were going to be a Nintendo guy, Luke. I really did.
I used to be, and then they just kept taking my money and I kept giving it to them, and I was like, this is an unhealthy relationship. That's what this is.
Yeah,
it really is. Huh? It's abusive. It really is.
It's not abusive, Pong. It is not abusive. All right. No, but
here's the thing. It's abusive, Blam, because I'm willing to go back. I'm like, oh no. he literally described, what was it? He said they just need to release a new Switch or a Switch Pro and Breath of the Wild 2 package deal. And I'm like, damn, that would be great. And then I'm thinking, wait a minute, a sequel to one of the best games of its generation and new hardware. That's what it's going to take for me to go back. And I'm like, that's not healthy. I'm not in a good place with that.
That's a fairly low bar, all things considered, man. All things where we're at in this generation, that is a low bar, man. But no, ooh. It is. I'm indifferent about Nintendo. We talk about them a lot on this podcast. They're in their own lane. It's a weird lane, but they're in their own lane regarding that, man. But so we're gonna go ahead and just probably cover one or two more things, and then we'll go ahead and wrap the show up. It's been fantastic so far. Shout out to everybody that's been in the chat, rocking out, man. Appreciate you guys all keeping the hype and everything going, man. We're obviously just trying to maintain that level of excitement here, for the show tomorrow and just for the rest of the weekend. But let us know what you guys want to talk about as well in chat. But let's just keep it going, man. Centurion, anything you wanted to talk about particularly regarding this week? Anything specific? No, he may have stepped away. Okay, so we'll just, we're going to just, like I said, we're off the cuff here. So we'll keep throwing the ideas out here. Anything? So I got a quick one. So since we're going out on a limb, we might as well end this thing on a bang. So Luke, I'm starting with you. We got to have one. I need one prediction from the Xbox show. Just give me one. The one that's the closest one to your heart that you would melt in your chair if it happened.
Oh my God. So the closest one. The problem is my closest one is Titanfall 3, and that's EA, right?
Yeah, that would.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Realistically, I do not know realistically. What I want them to end the show by reminding gamers of what it is Xbox is bringing to the table in the medium and long term. Meaning, I don't expect us to see Fable or Hellblade 2 or anything Avowed at the show. But what I do expect, and I do hope they do, is at the very end, the last thing is they scroll all the titles that have been announced for Xbox consoles or ecosystems to date. Meaning they ping up there Avowed, Fable, Perfect Dark, Elder Scrolls, Starfield, Outer Worlds, Grounded, Gears 6, Forza Ascent, whatever it is, everything that they have announced openly to date needs to ping up there so that they can remind gamers what their money is buying. That's what I want to see at the end.
That's almost Marvel-esque, kind
That's
of announcing that roadmap for the next 2-3 years. So you would like a big, nice designed screen, essentially just showing like maybe a release window, kind of a roadmap, kind of a deal.
Maybe not with dates, but a reminder that this is what we've got on slate. Because if you think about the last 2 years, we've had some major announcements, Perfect Dark and Fable among them. But it's been a while. Like, we don't talk about those regularly. And this is E3. And if they're going to have a 90-minute showcase combined with Bethesda, they're going to announce some things. They're going to give us information on some stuff we already know about. But there's plenty that they won't cover. They need to remind people about those things that they didn't cover so that their dollar travels further. Sony are experts at this. They sold PlayStations on the promise of Final Fantasy VII 4 years before that thing came out. So that's what I'm saying. Like, adjust and recognize that topic matters. People bought it with anticipation for future titles. Show them some of those future titles very quickly. You don't need gameplay or CGI or anything else. Just the names going forward.
I like it. I like that. It's pretty tasteful. It reminds me, like I said, of that how Marvel laid it out, as far as their roadmap, and everybody got excited, even though it almost felt like it was too much information, but it was welcomed, the transparency of seeing the roadmap. So everybody got really excited for that. I do like that. I never thought about that, Luke, but I like that. So we're moving on to Pong, Mr. Speculation Town. You've been camped there for a couple weeks now. Looks like you may be buying some property there very soon.
Oh yeah.
So where
mayor. I'm mayor of Speculation
Town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay,
now.
you got your citizenship and everything. All right.
Hell yeah.
But where are you at? When one thing, Pong, I know you got $1 million. I know you got to put the list down, put the list away.
I do.
Got to pick one.
Give me two. Give me two.
I'll
make it quick. I'll make it quick. All right. I'll make it quick.
All right, go ahead.
The first one I'll make quick. All right. We need the partnership with Sega to strengthen, and I want to see Sega announce at E3 tomorrow that the back catalog of Atlas games are coming to Game Pass, starting with Persona 5 Royale. I think that needs to happen. That is something that has been long overdue. Atlas has been dragging their feet and pouting and shouting that they don't want to make the Xbox versions, but Sega needs to lay the smackdown and get that done. And just get them in there. It's important that we continue to get JRPGs and that Eastern influence type game here in the West on Xbox. And I think that happens. So I'd love to see that tomorrow. 83. And then my second one is the same one I've said. Everybody's going to say this is too far out there. People are still saying it. People are said the dream was dead today. I don't care. Tomorrow, end the show after the Starfield announcement. You have Phil go, oh, by the way, remember it's our 20th anniversary this year. We've talked about it during this show, but we got one last thing to show you to remind you of the 20th anniversary. The lights go out. Everything goes dark. There's silence. And then you hear the night goggle sound pop on. And you see Splinter Cell.
You are playing into it, my friend.
He's on that. Tom Hanks on that island over there.
Oh, that's right. Splinter Cell in that neon Xbox green shows up on the screen. That's all we need to see. We don't need to see anything else. I don't need anything else. I just need the night goggle sound and Splinter Cell across the screen, exclusive to Xbox. And that is it. If everybody remembers, Splinter Cell showed up on the OG Xbox first. It was exclusive back in the day. It would be the perfect anniversary gift to everybody in the Xbox community, and it would be a showstopper to end it. So
Mhm.
that's
that happening would admit Ubisoft actually did something right. Like they have an actual heart, and I don't think they
Yeah.
want to admit that just yet.
That isn't about a heart. That's about the money truck that showed up at their offices from Phil. Okay, that's all that would be. No.
No, I feel you. No, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, we're all on that island. It's a small island, but it's fit quite a bit of. Like we're
Any
all
vacancies
on
over there in Speculation
Exactly.
Town? Because I'm sold.
No, for sure, man. So that's a tough one, man. Oh Lord have mercy. I don't even want to dive into that. We have a whole show about that. So let's go and actually throw this over to you, Fuzz. Just one thing, bro. One thing close to your heart, man.
It's going to sound odd, but well, no, it's going to kind of divide into two directions depending on acquisitions. One rumored acquisition, although nobody seems to be talking about the game that may come from it. They're talking about other games. The dream would be Crytek, but I don't care about Crysis. I too craps about that. I want Rise 2, just plain and simple. Have a Rise 2. If you're not even in development, just at least show it on screen. You know, pull a whole Bayonetta thing type of deal. But Rise 2. But if Crytek is not one of the acquisitions and it winds up being, Avalanche, I know this is going to be licensing required. I want a Mad Max like Beyond Thunderdome or something along those lines, like a new Mad Max game. That the original game was fantastic. I loved how they like Avalanche helped out with what was the other game? The
Rage 2.
Yeah, Rage 2.
Rage 2.
So with the car combat and stuff. So I would love to see another Mad Max game.
Yeah, underrated game. I think it's back on sale for $5 too right now.
Yeah, it's super
hell of a deal. It's got an FPS boost and everything now, so it runs smooth. It's amazing.
The HDR on that thing. I mean, it's just it. I won't say it's a perfect game, but it's got the Arkham Knight like Batman combat. It's got car combat. It's got a variety of different landscapes. You got a variety of different cars and enemy types and bases and things. So yeah, I would like to see an expanded version or like a Mad Max 2 essentially. And that's part of the acquisition with Avalanche. Fingers crossed.
Awesome. I love where you're going with that, man. Love where you're going. So Centurion, man, one thing close to your heart, brother. Where are you at, man? So one thing you want to see tomorrow?
I guess not to sound, cheesy, and what entertains me is I want to see kind of a little bit of the direction they're going to take the Elder Scrolls brand. Are we going to stay in like an Elder Scrolls Online holding pattern? Are we going to start looking forward into Elder Scrolls 6? For me, that's been a franchise I've been kind of involved in heavily now for the past few years. So I'm kind of curious on what the future of this franchise is now that it's underneath the Xbox flag.
Okay. All right. So I like that. I don't know if we'll see anything. I mean, maybe we'll see something from ESO, ESO related possibly, but I don't know if we'll see anything from the actual Elder Scrolls 6. Like, I doubt that's probably so far off.
I'm not saying they got to show me Elder Scrolls 6, but at least let me know. I'm like, are we still going to be focusing on Elder Scrolls Online for a while, or are we going to start putting like a lot of development and money into a single player experience?
Got it. Okay.
They're going to do both. I can guarantee you they're going to keep Elder Scrolls Online going, and they're going to do Elder Scrolls 6.
I'm looking forward to the Series X update. I know it got pushed back a few days, but I'm looking forward to the update. That's going to be really interesting to see.
And don't forget, ZeniMax Online supposedly has a new IP in the works.
Yeah, I heard about that as well.
And my final wish is that with that Indiana Jones license, that they also got, without us knowing, because we wouldn't know, but that's a big deal that they got Indiana Jones, but they also got a Star Wars license, and they make a proper Star Wars MMO. With the success of ESO, ZeniMax Online is in position to finally do a proper Star Wars MMO. That would be a dream come true.
I like that. I like where you're going with that. So for me in particular, just to wrap things up here, I want to see something. Obviously, I've been harping on this because I just think it's a point for Xbox, and it's something that they've been striving and struggling to do, and they've been trying so hard. So I definitely want to see something from Japan, whether it be a partnership of some sort to make an exclusive game, whether it be a new studio, whether it be, hey, obviously a brand new IP would be amazing. Maybe, giving somebody a older IP possibly and having them work on it, because I think it's crucial that they do show some progress there. And it's funny because I don't know if you guys paid attention, but when back during the E3 in Bethesda, when they did the show, after, officially, announcing that the acquisition, Phil, that was when they asked Phil, like, what do you want to see first out of all the studios? He got so giddy and wanted to see, what was going on in Japan with Tango, and obviously that's their first party studio based out of Japan, so that's interesting. I think they're even been rumored to be working on maybe more than one game as well. So I definitely want to see something out of Japan. Just show some more progress there. I think would be welcome. They do a little bit. It gets a little better every year. I know Bandai Namco, fucks with Xbox heavy. They show a lot of support for Xbox, even Square here and there. Outside of anything outside of Final Fantasy, Square usually shows a little bit of love. So I just really want to see what kind of fruit that tree is going to bear, because Phil's been out there a few times fairly recently. That's what that we know of. So. That's something that I'm highly, highly, highly looking forward to, guys. So I think we're going to go ahead and just wrap things up there, man. It's been a phenomenal show. We just been really off the cuff here. The chat has been amazing. Obviously, we got our guest here, and we'll get to him. But just chat. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys' support. All of the super chats, man. Thank you guys for showing love. So I'm probably going to go ahead and live stream tomorrow. So you guys, I'll put out a tweet officially in the morning letting you guys know yay or nay. I kind of want to be a fan this time around, but I know some of you guys, like coming and, taking part and watching with us. So I'm probably going to end up just live streaming. So look forward to that tomorrow. But outside of that, let's get to our guest, man. It's been an amazing show. Luke, you haven't been on in a while, but man, it's always familiar, man. It's almost like you never left, bro. But let everybody know what you got going on. I know you got some things cooking up tomorrow as well, so let people know about that. But we appreciate you being here, man. You're one of my just favorite people in general, just to talk to about gaming and having on the show, because you're always so balanced. So we appreciate you, bro. But let everybody know what you got cooking up, man.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was an absolute honor to be on the shop and to be hanging out with you guys. I know Stagger couldn't be here, and that's a bummer, but I mean, it's always great to see Pong and Fuzzy and Centurion, and of course you, Blam. So it is a pleasure to have been here. Let's see. You can find me on Twitter at InsipidGhost, and I would love it if you guys would check me out there. And then all your podcast services, the Xbox expansion pass, including YouTube. I had the audio tracks are on YouTube as well. And so it'd be a pleasure for you guys to check that out. I'll be doing a recap with Miles Dompierre of Windows Central tomorrow. That'll go live on Monday. And yeah, that's it, man. Thank you for having me.
No, once again, man, you guys showed Luke some love, man. XEP is one of the better shows out there, man. Very well put together, always really cool, very well curated, high quality, so you're not going to be missing out on that as well. And like I said, fair, unbalanced, knowledgeable, that's what you want. So Luke is that guy, so show him some love and support down in the chat. All of that information is down there in the description, man. But let me go ahead and get to my three horsemen here. Shout out to Stag as well. I'm sure you're watching, bro. Or if you're not, maybe you'll catch it a little bit later on, man. Appreciate you. We miss you being here this week. But Pong, man, we're there, Pong. We're at the doorstep, Pong. Oh. We're at the doorstep. One more sleep.
Oh,
one
man.
more sleep.
If I sleep. Are you kidding me?
That's true. That's true. Good point.
Are you kidding me? I might find some more shows to jump into just because. This was too short, man. I could have gone for another couple of hours here. Let's go.
Jeez.
Let's go.
Man,
my list is long.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this has been fantastic as always, gentlemen. And to share Christmas Eve with you, again, Christmas overall has already begun just because we're all gamers and we find something to look forward to. But to share Christmas Eve of, Xbox's show tomorrow, which is more than likely going to be epic at this point. That is something special. So I'll never forget it. I appreciate all of you and Luke, especially for showing up and guesting on with us. This has just been a great Saturday night chat. You guys have been amazing. Love you all. Just nothing but respect for everybody that shows up every week with the support. And that is something special. But yeah, you guys can find me Pong Soul everywhere, Xbox, Twitter. You know the drill. It's tomorrow on Sunday. The Xbox Ultimate and Living Split Screen mashup is going to happen for the Xbox show. So we are combining forces over at Fun Speculations channel. Yep. So that's
shout out
going
to
be
Mav and Caitlin.
That's right. Good old Fun Speculation, aka Mav, his beautiful wife Caitlin, and the rest of the Magnificent Seven will be joined with Steel Rain, and of course I'm part of both, so I'm kind of the link. So but yeah, you guys can find us over there. I know everybody's doing shows, but we're gonna have a lot of fun over there, so come find us there. Otherwise, next Tuesday I will be back on the Xbox Factor podcast with Mr. Boomstick, of course, Zemi Games, and now Tuesdays have the VGHD 3-bit, the good bit. He will be there with us on Tuesdays permanently, so that's going to be one hell of a show after this E3. That's going to be awesome. So yeah, definitely. Next Friday night, I'll be back on the Xbox Ultimate Show, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. So come find us there. And then I'll be back at the Living Split Screen next Saturday morning. We just finished up episode 13. My brother from another, Steel Rain, and myself, or actually episode 12. Next week will be episode 13. So we just did episode 12. But yeah, Saturday morning, Living Split Screen, all one word, Split Screen. You come find us there, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. We are live and full of energy and just loving life over there and loving being gamers. That's what this show's all about. We have a great community building, so come find us there. Otherwise, I'll be back here next Saturday night. Love you all, and thank you very much. Enjoy everything that's going on. The golden age of gaming is here. Play what you love what you play, and we will definitely be talking to you all soon.
For sure, man. That's key too. Please just enjoy it, man. Enjoy what we're gonna see for the rest of the week, man. But let's go ahead and throw this over to Centurion. We appreciate you here, man. Let everybody know what's cooking up with you, man. Where you gonna be at? What you got going on?
Well, not much is really going on. As soon as I'm done working with the project I got going on, I'm hoping to be doing some YouTube content here real soon. But other than that, to find my current content, you can find me at Centurion1307, of course, right here on YouTube. You can also locate me right on Twitter, Xbox Live, and you can also find me here every Saturday night on the Shop Podcast and every Sunday night on the TXR Podcast.
Appreciate you, man. Every single week here, always consistent, man. Thank you so much, man. For us, we're here, man. We're I know we'll probably be on Xbox talking a little bit later on tonight, man. But just let everybody know what you got cooking up. We're at the doorstep. We're here, man. One more sleep.
Yeah, the Christmas Eve type excitement is definitely in the air type of deal. Glad having Luke on here again, man. Always great, chatting with you about games and stuff. Always awesome conversations, man. Shout out to Stag. Catch this either on the replay or if you're in the chat or anything like that. Always always fun talking with you. Always fun with Pong and Centurion and you, Blam, man. On my favorite hobby. Just always enjoy being here on Saturdays talking shop with you guys. But looking forward to tomorrow. You can find me on Twitter, maybe, or actually you probably won't find me on Twitter because I'm not trying to see spoilers before the show. But yeah, definitely looking forward to tomorrow. Fingers crossed we get what we want. I'm going to be happy either way. I know basically, with some of the stuff that we're going to see tomorrow, I'm already stoked. But those surprises is what I'm hoping for. But thanks for everybody in the chat and joining us. Always a great time. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys, man. And last but not least, the host with the most, PTK Blam. Catch me everywhere, Twitter, here on YouTube, man. We appreciate the continued support, man. Once again, the big thing here is go out, have fun, celebrate gaming, man. That's what we're all here for. We're going to do the back and forth. That shit is fun for every now and then. But at the end of the day, there's something out there for everyone. Realize not everybody plays everything. We all have the same availability and options. So just have fun, enjoy what you see. If you leave, feeling a certain type of way, you might need to take a step back and just go play a video game or two and, remember why we're doing what we're doing and why we're all excited about this weekend, man. But we appreciate you guys here. everybody, man. Shout out to Fastback too with the last little super chat there. Thank you so much, man. Shout out to NLG as well. But we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Like I said, I'll let you know for sure in the morning. I'll be up early as hell because I'm probably not going to be able to sleep much. But I'll let you guys know. But have a great night. Enjoy your weekend. See you guys next week. Peace out.
Later.